I welcome you into today's video. Let's talk about the last candle in the synagogue. Join me, let's go. In the heart of a forgotten town, draped in the bitter winds of war and oppression, stood a crumbling synagogue. Its once glorious walls, painted with generations of prayer, now bore the bruises of hatred. The stained glass windows had long since shattered, and the sacred scrolls were hidden away, buried in the ground by trembling hands and tear-stained hearts. But one flame still flickered. It lived in the heart of a boy named Eli. He was 12, too young for the weight he carried, too old to pretend he didn't see what the world was becoming. His curls had grown long, his clothes hung loose from hunger, but his eyes still held the fire of his father's stories. Eli lived with his grandfather, Rabbi Moshe, in a cellar beneath what was once the community's sacred home. The others had fled, taken, or disappeared in the silence of night. The war had torn the town apart, and the soldiers, heavy-booted and hollow-eyed, patrolled the streets with cruelty and contempt. Faith, in such times, was dangerous. And yet, every Friday evening, as the sun fell behind the dying buildings, Eli would light a single candle, the last candle. He would place it upon the stone table in the heart of the dark synagogue ruins, close his eyes, and whisper the blessings his grandfather had taught him. It was forbidden. It was dangerous. But it was sacred. One evening, as the winter winds howled like lost spirits, Eli asked, "Zaid, why do we keep lighting the candle? No one else is here. God is quiet." Rabbi Moshe looked at him with eyes that had witnessed too much sorrow, too much silence, too many names forgotten. "Because, my boy," he said softly, "the candle does not wait for an audience. It is not lit for people to see. It is lit to remind the darkness that it has not won." Eli nodded, and from that night on, even when his grandfather's breath grew shallow and his words faded into sleep, Eli continued lighting the candle. One morning, Eli awoke to find Rabbi Moshe cold beside him, his hand still curled around a torn page of prayer, his lips still half-shaped into a blessing. Eli buried his grandfather beneath the old fig tree behind the synagogue, the same tree under which Rabbi Moshe had once taught the children how to recite the Torah, how to sing the old songs. He sat beside the grave for hours, cradling the candle. "I am alone now," he whispered. And yet, that Friday night, he still lit the candle. He lit it with trembling hands and a breaking heart. He lit it with the ache of absence and the courage of memory. The flame danced in the cold air, casting shadows upon the cracked walls, painting warmth where there should have been none. But the soldiers were watching. A whisper had reached them of a boy who dared keep the old ways alive. One night, boots thundered through the ruined streets. Eli heard them. He hid the candle behind a stone, shielding the flame with his coat. They entered with guns raised and hatred burning in their eyes. "You," the commander growled, "you lit the candle." Eli stood, small, alone, but his voice did not shake. "Yes, I lit it." The soldiers surrounded him. The commander raised his arm, then hesitated. There, on the altar, the candle still burned, soft, steady. The commander stepped forward. He stared at the flame. Something in it, perhaps a memory, a mother's voice, a song from another life, softened the lines on his face. He turned away. "Leave the boy," he ordered. The soldiers, confused, obeyed. Silence returned. Eli collapsed to the floor, the candle flickering beside him. Years passed. The war ended. Survivors returned, scarred, broken, searching, and they found Eli still there, older, quieter, but with the same fire in his eyes. He opened the synagogue doors, rebuilt the broken walls, and from the dust, a new song rose. On the day of its rededication, as children filled the pews and elders wept, Eli stood beside the ark with a single candle in his hand. He lit it and told them the story. "This is the last candle," he said, "the one that burned when the world went dark, the one that reminded the darkness it has not won." And so the flame continued, passed from hand to hand, from generation to generation, not just as light, but as legacy. And in every place where hope flickers against the shadow, the last candle still burns. Thank you for watching and for being part of this channel. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Until next time, stay safe and keep your family faith.